Welcome to the Series Sweep podcast, where I am breaking down each and every single Dodgers series for the 2020 season. You can find me, Eric, on Twitter at EEULAU. You can find us on the YouTube channel, which if you're watching me, you've already found. Good job. And although it pains me to say it, link in bio on Instagram. So wrapping up this Dodgers weekend series, I know it's Monday. By the time you watch this, it's probably Tuesday. Eric, what the hell were you doing? Well, Saturday, I couldn't do it because the series wasn't over yet. Sorry, Sunday, NFL Sunday, week 1. What is a boy to do than just watch glorious amounts of football, watch the Dodgers game, watch the Rams game in primetime, and then realize, oh my God, it's 10:30 at night. Why is it so late? Because I record things, because life is too short for commercials, which is why, for the time being, with absolutely zero monetization going right now, you'll never find advertisements on this podcast either. Until we can, then we'll have them. Anyway, let's jump into it. The Dodgers split the 2-game set against the Houston Astros. That right there on your screen is the official logo of the Houston Astros, a trash can. Game 1, you probably heard about it by now. A little bit rough. Kenley Jansen absolutely bombed this game. Came in with a lead up 5-2. Why was there a lead? Because Julio Urias kicked ass. They hit back-to-back home runs early in the game. They built a nice little lead. Astros chipped in a RBI later in the game. It's 2-5. You're feeling good. It's primetime. You got John Schmoltzy up there commentating. Even got Joe Davis, a familiar face, familiar name, obviously, the Dodgers play-by-play guy. It's going to be a wonderful weekend. And then this guy happens. Top of the ninth. Chance to assure yourself of a season series win, because you already won the 2 in Houston. You could win this third game. You'd like to win the Sunday night baseball game the next day in primetime again. But you know what? You can just wrap this one up. You're up 5-2. What could go wrong? Kenley Jansen does not record an out. As you see, 4 straight hits, a fielder's choice, which does not count as an inning or even a partial inning pitched for the pitcher, which is why he did not record an out. And that other single, and then he's gone. Adam Kolarik's in. So 6 batters faced, 0 outs recorded. And the most frustrating part of the whole goddamn deal, well, one of the most frustrating parts of the goddamn deal, I should say, he had 2 strike counts on 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 guys. He had 2 strikes on Springer, 2 strikes on Diaz, 2 strikes on Reddick, and 2 strikes on Bregman, and could put him away. This wasn't the walk fest like he's had in the past. There wasn't this huge back-breaking home run. It's just death by 1,000 paper cuts. Credit the Astros. They hit him well. They had a good scouting report. But this is by far the worst regular season appearance for Kenley Jansen in his career. In his career that starts in 2011. There's a lot of data there. There's a lot of game logs that go through. A lot of split stats. A lot of GBFs and interesting stats you can comb through if you're really, really bored. That is by far the worst game of his regular season career. Not going to put it up there with Game 2 of the World Series against the Astros. Not going to put it up there, which I believe was Game 2 of the 2016 NLCS, which they lost to the Cubs. It's not in that stratosphere, but you wanted this game so bad as a Dodgers fan. You could tell the team wanted this game. And so to have a guy who's put together a really, really nice season before his last couple appearances, that Diamondbacks game, obviously. But to have a guy who was the August reliever of the month, who really cares, but shows what he did in August, to completely fall apart in a playoff-like game against a team who's the last time they were in your stadium, they were busy cheating you out of a World Series, and he couldn't get it done. Single, double, single, fielder's choice single, he gets yanked for Kolarik. The way that Game 1 played out, it was as if a producer had written out the script. How are we going to terrorize the Dodger fans on Saturday? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give them an early lead. We're going to give him 2 home runs. We're going to get him a 3-run lead going. We'll even have Joe Davis on the call to make sure they're really into it and really excited. And you know what? We'll have a Rams game in primetime the next day and football, so they're really, really happy. And then, you know what we're going to do? We're going to give them a nice lead, that nice big lead, and then boom, DEFCON 1, bombs away. The whole thing just explodes. Michael Bay explosions. We are just going to detonate them like the side of a mountain. They will be so emotionally distraught that they will be forced to watch and listen to Alex Rodriguez the next day. It was awful. I would have rather have lost the game on like a home run. I don't know. I would rather have just not lost the game at all. But there's better ways to lose a game than just getting paper cutted to death by the Astros. So that leads us to our Steve Pearce Award, the guy who outplayed the name on his back of his jersey, and that is Aledmus Diaz. Kind of a no-name kid, second baseman for the Astros, but he was the one that had the single following Carlos Correa's single to get that rally going. And I think when you're a young kid like that, and you're in a lineup with some really big names, obviously he was also in the lineup because one of our favorites, Jose Altuve, wasn't playing. Probably busy getting another shitty tattoo. There's a lot of pressure on you when you're in that lineup with names like Correa, Bregman, Springer, guys that have been there before. Not Josh Reddick because he sucks. But a lot of pressure. Instead, hits a nice little single, does his job, moves the line. And that's why he's our Steve Pearce Award winner for this series. So, you're the Dodgers. Kenley has this awful outing. He had a bad outing against the Diamondbacks. Almost gives up a 4-run lead in extras when you're up 10-6 in Phoenix. So what are your options? Let's say you're one of those Dodger fans, you're like, I don't want to see Kenley in the playoffs under any circumstances. And you know what? You have a right to that opinion. There's even some evidence to support it. So option one, I don't see those animations. Option 1, Brusdar Graterol. Young kid, throwing 101. He's had some really nice outings this year. He's had some okay outings too. A little green. 2-pitch guy. A little green in the playoffs. No playoff experience. I think it's a little too soon. I love that he loves mangoes. I love how hard he throws. I love his name. Love everything about him. Love that we're going to have him for a few years. Love that the Red Sox want to know part of him, so we just got him. Good stuff. Option 2, Blake Trinan. Lights out reliever. Not last year, but the year before that for the Oakland A's. That just bowling ball sinker, as they like to call it. The guy can throw, and he has experience closing. He doesn't have as much experience closing the playoffs like Kenley does. I'm not really sold on Trinan either. We've seen where he looks his best. We've seen where he looks his worst. I'm still calling BS on him not getting a single earned run in that Diamondbacks outing Trinan had that was a disaster. We'll get into that later. I'm not sure I trust Trinan the most. The guy who I think, although he may throw, besides Jansen these days, the softest of all the guys in the bullpen, and a guy that has proven that he can get lefties and righties out, even though he used to be a hardcore lefty specialist back in Tampa, where Friedman got him from, Adam Kolarek. And before everyone freaks out, I'm not saying Adam Kolarek needs to be the closer tomorrow. I'm not saying Adam Kolarek needs to be the closer for the start of the playoffs. What I'm saying to you is if Jansen looks rickety, wobbly, whatever other adjective you'd like to describe something that's imbalanced or quite not right, I would like to see Adam Kolarek get a shot. I think it makes the most sense. I know, or I strongly believe, that Dave Roberts will make it Blake Trinan. He wants to see Trinan in there, and you saw Trinan get that first save when Jansen was unavailable earlier this season. I think it's going to be Trinan. I think Kolarek should get the chance. I think his stats are a lot better. I love that he's got lefties and righties out. He's really limited the damage, and he's the one reliever so far that hasn't seen his ERA balloon along with the rest of the bullpen. Now, let's get to Game 2. It wasn't all bad. I know it was a lot for Game 1. That's what everyone's talking about. Game 2, the offense once again puts it together. 8 runs, including a generous 3 spot by yours truly. Not yours truly, I wasn't playing in the game. By Chris Taylor, fan favorite. He's got the giant caterpillar eyebrows. He's got the weird, confused look at the plate. He's got the awkward crotch grab every time before the pitcher finishes getting the sign and throwing it in. he's kind of an awkward dude, but he's played really well, and we'll get to him in a bit. But he gave the Dodgers some insurance. Dave Roberts decides to go back and put Kenley back in for the ninth of Game 2, just to get him some experience, just to get his head right. I'm not sure how much that does. I think when you're a reliever, you need to be able to prove to yourself that you can still get those outs in close games. And I'm not going to agree with Alex Rodriguez, who argued that the Dodgers didn't want those 3 extra runs from Chris Taylor because it would have been a different situation for Kenley. It would have been good for him to be 5-1. I agree that it would have showed us more about Kenley at 5-1. You know what I'd rather have, Alex? Rather than seeing what I have in my closer, who I'm pretty sure I know can't really deliver in big moments anymore, I'd rather have the freaking win. That's what I'd rather have. Win, closer appearance. Win, closer appearance. Rather have the win. So, they split the series, 8-1. Offense looks great yesterday. And one thing I didn't get to Game 1 is the Dodgers screwed up another great start by Julio Urias, who's now, for the month, 2 of his 3 starts, been pretty solid. Pretty good. Game 2, the Dodgers just continue their tradition of crushing Zach Greinke at Dodger Stadium. I was a big Greinke guy when we had him. Kind of a weird dude. Kind of loved that he was a weird dude. Loved his pitch repertoire. Guy throws everything. You know, even had earlier this year, he'd tell the batter what pitcher he was going to throw. I think Zach Greinke is just an awesome pitcher to watch. And I love that he took the money from the Diamondbacks and we just crush him every time he's at Dodger Stadium. It's incredible. So we put a 5 spot on him. The rest is history. Off to the races. Up 8-1. Then you have Alex Rodriguez babbling about a bunch of BS about how we don't know what happened in 2017. They're both 2 great teams. We do know, Alex. There is a report, and people lost their jobs. None of the players got suspended because this commissioner's a big sissy. But we know what happened. They cheated. They recorded our signs, and that's how they knew what we were going to throw. And that's how they lit Clayton Kershaw up in Game 5 after not being able to get a hit at all in Game 1 at Dodger Stadium. So don't give me this towing the company line crap about how we don't know what happened. We all know what happened. We were all there. We're not all there, but we were there in spirit. We read all the articles. We watched the beautiful John Boy video breaking down the trash can banging, hence why there's a trash can there. Game 2 was great. The problem is when you lose games like you did in Game 1, it still feels like a loss for the series even though you split. And I think just because of how on edge Dodger fans are, and especially with those San Diego Padres coming right up on our necks, every game really counts, and we're within 2 weeks of 3 weeks, 3 weeks of playoff baseball. You just start to get that edge. I am honestly not mentally prepared for playoff baseball. I need a couple more months here to get my head right and get in the flow. But, it's 2020. You're just going to have to deal with some playoff baseball. And, if the Dodgers lose, we'll get to that in a later subject. Sorry, that got dark really fast. Anyway, let's get to some happy. Let's get to some good stuff. Stat of the series, 9.00 ERA. That would be the starting ERA for both Astros pitchers. That would be Framber Valdez and Zach Greinke. Each gave up 5 earned. The Dodgers did a great job against the starters. The offense did everything they needed to do in this series. I will give them that. I love that we bullpenned that game on Sunday because of the May injury and because of Buehler. And then we had Gonsolin come in. We didn't really have a starter, so we bullpenned it. And Gratterall started things off. We threw in Victor Gonzalez, and we just strung together a great performance from the bullpen, a great bullpen game. The chemistry-changing moment of the series, I think it has to be that first home run in Game 2 because you have the Dodgers. They're on the mat, looking like you could just roll over and just cough up the second game at your place on Sunday Night Baseball. But instead, you get an early run in the first, and I think that just got them going and really, really kept the straw stirring the drink for the offense. And that's what you need. And that's what you need against a team like the Astros, whose pitching has not been the best. You got a ton of young relievers. So the quicker you can get into their bullpen, the quicker you can start putting up even more runs. Because they do have some okay, I'd say they have average starters this year. Their bullpen is a lot of kids, and you can get to them. And I think it was really important for the Dodgers to get that early run, get their confidence back, especially with baseball. It just seems like there's so much momentum and flow and feeling in baseball. It's not like golf, but it's a lot of top 2 inches, All right, so let's get to this cat. Mr. Caterpillar Eyebrows, Mr. Eyeliner, Mr. Bucktooth, Mr. Crotch Grabber, Mr. I'm hitting 1.124 OPS in September like a salve. And this isn't, we're at least in double-digit days in September. We're about halfway through, obviously. But just an incredible performance by Chris Taylor. He deserves all the playing time he's getting. I know the lefty splits aren't great, but he's had a hell of a weekend. I mean, I think five RBI this weekend. Obviously, the game-sealing home run, which we talked about. But look at the on-base percentage is getting a lot better. He's never going to be a guy that walks a ton. He has had his strikeout issues. I get that. But Chris Taylor, there's a reason so many GMs love him. There's a reason the Dodgers like him a lot. And there's a reason I really hope they find a way to keep him on the team for a few more years. He deserves to play. He deserves to play a lot more than Gavin Lux does some days. I'll give you that. And he deserves to play a lot more than Kike Hernandez does too. But that is a conversation for a different day. All right, so let's get to our injury list real quick. You have Walker Buehler, the mighty, mighty Blister, taking over Rich Hill's role of lead Blister minister on the Dodgers. He's out, still on the 10-day IL, excuse me, we don't use DL anymore, IL. Dustin May will be activated, most likely going to start Wednesday unless he has a major setback with that left foot injury that he suffered. Feeling good about that. Justin Turner reported, confirmed, check the box, book it Donnie, tag him and bag him. Activated tomorrow, he's going to DH. And I think after the way the Dodgers just sucked it up in the late innings against the Padres today, Max Muncy with that horrible error. We'll get to that in the next series sweep. But because it is Monday, this game already happened, so I can already tell you the Dodgers lost 2-7. Kershaw, never mind. We'll do it on the next one. Sorry. Tomorrow you're going to have Tony Gonsolin versus Zach Davies. Smoke versus a soft tosser. Wednesday you're going to have Dustin May versus the guy the Dodgers have seen a lot of this year, and that is TBD. So we'll see how that goes against TBD. As always, TBD is plus stuff. We ran through the injuries, forgot to tell you. Joe Kelly still serving his suspension, but coming back soon. Pedro Baez is still Pedro Baez and not in a good way. My friends, thank you as always for watching. You can find this on Spotify. You can find me on Twitter at EULO. You got the Instagram there as well, same handle. You can find me on Spotify under the series sweep. You can download it. Takes about 20-25 minutes. We get you caught up on everything Dodgers, everything you need to know, everything that you might have missed because you may actually have a life and can't watch 23 hours of baseball in a 3-day span or a 4-day span. But I don't, so I'm here for you. Thank you for listening. Please share with your friends. We forgot to do our unofficial official sponsor. It's water again. Pretty big Sunday beer-wise. Nothing bad, nothing nefarious. It was at the safe confines of my house. Outside with our beautiful 3-screen setup, but you don't really care about my weekend. Anyway, sticking to the water for tonight. We'll probably get back into the beverages as Stacy34, no more beer, what's up with that? I just told you, Stacy, I had a pretty fun weekend, and it's time to recoup. It's time to get some electrolytes back in the body. It's time to balance the checkbook out, This can't all be fun. You can't just be running around doing what I want to do every day, okay? All right? Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.